What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. Have you heard about the $25 billion contract scandal at NNPC? Where do I even start? I don't even. Okay, the first issue is that Buhari made himself the Minister of Petroleum in 2015 when he became president. You should not be president and the minister at the same time. Amen, somebody. Amen, somebody. How can you be president and minister at the same time? You can't be the only one that can do the job. So when he appointed Kachukwu as the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, a lot of people were like, oh, he just put this man there like a figurehead. Buhari will not let him have complete control. No be me talk, these are Nigerians, no big mouths, they like to talk. In any case, Buhari made this man the Minister of State for Petroleum and the Group Managing Director of NNPC. But last year, Buhari removed him as the Group Managing Director and he replaced him with Mekanti Baru. Keep in mind, Baru has been working at NNPC for a long time. So, the problem now is that when Baru became the Managing Director of NNPC, he allegedly started sidelining Kachukwu, even though Kachukwu is still the Minister of State for Petroleum and the Chairman of the Board of NNPC. So in August of this year, Kachukwu wrote a 7-page letter to Mr. President saying that all the reformations that he did when he was at NNPC had been eroded by Baru. He said Baru has made several appointments without letting him, the Oga at the top, without letting him know about it or letting the board members know about it. According to Kachukwu, he said he would just see in the news that so person has been appointed without him knowing about it before that. And then Kachukwu said that Baru has awarded several contracts worth billions of dollars without letting him or the board members know about it. I was like, stop right there. Stop. Stop right there. These are big contracts. How can you say billion? Oh, for that? Billions of dollars. Where is my glasses and my calculator? Somebody. Oh, for that, we must to calculate. Say you understand. What are we looking at? $10 billion. For that. Say you see that? 5 billion plus 5 billion plus 3 billion and another 3 billion and how much is that? Hey, $25 billion for that. Why is it that Nigerians talk about billions of dollars as if it is chicken change? For that, I'm telling you, everything we need to develop Nigeria is right there. Don't you think so? $25 billion. Keep in mind, by the way, that there are reports that some cabal in Buhari's administration have been named as beneficiaries of some of these contracts. Hey, Nigerians, you better wake up. You better wake up. So Kachukwu said that he wrote Baru several times that he and the board have to know about appointments before they will be made and that he needs to know about contracts that are being awarded, that Baru ignored his letter. And that each time he asked Baru physically, Baru would say, well, he already discussed the issue with the president. Ooh, father. So, when the letter leaked, Baru said Kachukwu was lying. I was like, okay, these are two grown men calling each other liars. He said he tells him before awarding contract. But Baru added something very important. He said he's actually not obligated to tell Kachukwu about awarding contracts, that he's only obligated to tell the president. I was like, ooh, no, he didn't. No, he did not. This is why he said it's important to know that the law and the rules do not require a review or discussion with the Minister of State or the NNPC board on contractual matters. I'm like, say what? Father, my dear, are you saying what I'm saying? Why do they have board members? You know, why do they have board members if they didn't need to know? And why do they have that Minister of State for Petroleum if he would not be allowed to have a say in awarding contracts? Something smells fishy. And then the man said, what is required is the processing and approval of contracts by the NNPC Tenders Board. By that, he said he meant the president in his executive capacity or as the Minister of Petroleum. Don't forget that the president is also the Minister of Petroleum. Sure, you understand? So the man is saying that so long as he tells Buhari, who in the world is Kachukwu? What the heck is Kachukwu? Can you imagine? These are two grown men. Telling each other, who are you? You know how Nigerians talk. Do you not know who I am? Do you know who I am, Nigerians? This is our problem. First of all, let me put this down. I need my glasses for this. First of all, okay, I can't see with this thing. First of all, this man sent a letter to Buhari since August of this year that for the last 1 year, no one consulted him about awarding contracts or making appointments. And do you know that Buhari did not say anything? Father! Since August, my people, what month is this? October. You're that phone. In fact, forget about making appointments. We're talking about $25 billion contract. And Buhari cannot acknowledge getting the letter or say anything about it or start some kind of investigation to say, $25 billion contract, okay, awarded without due process. Can you imagine that the president put him on speed dial? Yeah, welcome to this program, Mr. President. I've not been happy with you for a long time. I'm sure you know that. Anyway, also, why would Kachiku keep quiet on something of this magnitude for a whole year? My Oga, you are welcome to this program. How can you keep quiet until contracts worth $25 billion were awarded under your nose? These people, they act as if this is their personal property. Now the drama got interesting when Kachiku went to see Mr. President in a closed-door meeting. Apparently, he was not allowed to see Buhari. Can you imagine? Anyway, Sarah Reporters was the one that said it. Don't ask me how they know. Sarah Reporters, I don't know how they get into Aso Rock, you know. Anyway, they found out that the man was not allowed to meet with Buhari, that he only saw Buhari's aides and the cabal. Sure, you understand? Now, the chief of protocol allegedly told Kachiku that his younger brother is being investigated right now for collecting bribe from one woman in 2015. And I was like, hold on, like, what? Anyway, so they're saying that maybe Kachiku knows about it, but apparently Buhari in the past had asked Kachiku about this and he said he had absolutely nothing to do with it. But now they are bringing it up when Kachiku went to see Buhari at Aso Rock. Now, even though Kachiku was not allowed to see Buhari, that same day we saw Baru with Buhari during the Jumat prayer. And so he definitely has unhindered access to the president. And then Ruben Abati wrote an article explaining that these two men, Kachiku and Baru, had been frenemies for years. You guys know the meaning of frenemies, right? I mean, these are people that you see each other and you laugh when you see each other, but you're enemies behind each other's back. I know Khalid Owo sometimes, he just laughs when he sees me. I don't really trust him. He said these two men have had issues for years, so putting them together to work together was never going to work anyway. Later on, after abusing each other via the media, you know, Baru and Kachiku, they've been at each other's neck for weeks. Suddenly, we saw them together in a video, laughing together, and it's like, why are they laughing when we're talking about $25 billion contract unlawfully awarded? Is the joke now on us Nigerians? Seriously, because usually this is how it is. The joke is always on us Nigerians. Of course, we are always the momo in the equation. Momo don't do. You see Nigerians, momo don't do. But some of us, momo never do. I beg, these two men laughing. When will somebody give us an explanation about the awarded contract? Can they tell us what is happening? And can they at least put the contract on hold until the board members do proper vetting? Nobody is talking about this unlawfully awarded contract awarded to cabals, but they are laughing. But most of all, I'm disappointed in Mr. President. Yes, I'm disappointed. The man has been a huge disappointment by being silent on this issue. He has said nothing on the issues raised by Kachiku in the 7-page letter. Is it true that Mr. President is letting Baru award contracts without going through due process and without being vetted by the board members or any vetting by the minister? Are the cabal benefiting from the contract? Why is Buhari not saying anything? Buhari has refused to say anything. Instead, Mr. President wants the Senate to approve another $5.5 billion loan that we would borrow from abroad. Sure, you understand? You see, they said that this loan is for 2017 budget, by the way. Wait a minute. Hey, father, you see my dilemma inside the peninsula of this photosynthesis right there. We are still borrowing money for the 2017 budget in October of 2017. Baba, hey, you see, you must come down to Nigeria. Hey, Buhari, how many times did I call you? I thought Mr. President said he reads the news. No, so you cannot tell me that he's not aware that people are already saying, you know how people are, they're already saying that Buhari is silent over this Baru Kachiku issue just because Baru is a northerner. It's so obvious that Buhari's fight against corruption is evidently selective. If only Buhari can have the same passion that he has when he wants to stop Nnamdi Kanu. You guys remember, if he can apply the same passion to all issues like this in Nigeria, things would have changed a long time ago. You guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Cameroon, the last few weeks have been horrible for the people of Southern Cameroon as Biya, President Paul Biya, launched full attack on the English-speaking part of the country. First of all, keep in mind that during the First World War, Britain and France divided Cameroon, and this tore so many families apart. Before then, Germany was the one that was colonizing them, so they've been through a lot. Germany colonized them, and then Britain, and also France. They were one country before this division. So Northern Cameroon, that is the French-speaking part of the country, was colonized by France, and it became independent government in 1960. And then Southern Cameroon, which is the English-speaking part of the country, also the Anglophone part of Cameroon, was colonized by the British. And when other countries were getting their independence, they didn't let them stand as a country. They said they were too small. Instead, they called them the United Kingdom Trust Territory. They gave them the option of either joining Nigeria because Nigeria speaks English, or reuniting with Northern Cameroon because they used to be one. So some of them actually joined Nigeria. So some part of Northern Nigeria used to be Cameroon. But the place we now know today as Southern Cameroon decided that they wanted to reunite with their relatives in the north. So they decided to be part of Cameroon in what is now known as Cameroon's Unification Day. In fact, every year they celebrate this Reunification Day. So it's like two countries coming together, reunifying to be one. Now, they had an agreement that while they have a federal government, they will still be autonomous. Like Canada, you know, in Canada, we have some part of the country like Quebec speaking French and one part speaks English. They are both autonomous, yet they are together. This is Canada. So this is the same thing that Cameroon decided to do. So Southern Cameroon and Northern Cameroon decided to become one country with two separate government systems in July of 1961, the Fobam Conference. You can read more about that. And one of the agreements at the time is that Southern Cameroon would retain its British institutions, such as using English in education, judiciary, and legislature. And do you know that several countries actually applauded Southern Cameroon at that time for reuniting with their old country? Unfortunately, the party did not last long. That same year that they signed that agreement, the president at that time, Adeola, he reorganized the country from two federal states to becoming a 6-region country, and then he imposed what he called federal inspectors in each region, giving them more power than the locally elected politicians from those regions. And then by 1965, this president banned opposition parties completely. Not only that, he discarded the currency in the English-speaking part of Cameroon. And by 1971, can you guys believe that he abolished federalism altogether? And then when Paul Biya became president, he promised that he would stop the marginalization and that Southern Camerooners would be treated equal. But as you guys can see today, Paul Biya actually made it worse. And of course, with the backing of France, the man is now forcefully recolonizing the English-speaking part of Cameroon through what we call mandatory assimilation. So for years now, the federal government of Cameroon would only send French-trained and French-speaking officials to go and run the schools in Southern Cameroon, as well as run the cities and run the judiciary. So he sent these people to the English-speaking part of Cameroon. I mean, how can you learn anything if your teacher only speaks French and you speak English, unless you now become a French speaker? You see what I'm saying?
It's a private school, and their teachers are on strike in solidarity with colleagues in public schools. They want the government to stop sending teachers who only speak in French or pidgin English. Many students and parents support the striking teachers.
How can you take matters to court when the judge only speaks French? In fact, how can the English-trained lawyers operate under a French-trained judge and a French-speaking judge?
Lawyers are also on strike. Like teachers, they say the government is sending to their courts French civil law judges who don't understand English common law.
Keep in mind that English law is completely different from French law. So Southern Cameroonians decided that they are no longer reuniting with Cameroon, that they wanted to be on their own as they were before they decided to reunite with Northern Cameroon. But of course, each time this matter comes up, Paul Biya would try to silence them by sending the police to kill some of them. And so each time he would kill some of them, and he would hope that people would shut up. For the last 1 year now, the people of Southern Cameroon have refused to stop their protest. I've showed you guys videos of how Paul Biya sent police to beat up lawyers who protested.
Another lawyer is hijacked publicly. These other lawyers say they have been chased out of their hotel rooms and all their properties seized, including their wheat.
Very sad. Can you imagine? Also, when students protested, I've showed you guys videos of how Paul Biya sent police in the daylight to beat them up. So many of them were arrested as well.
You pussy, are you pussy? Are you pussy what they're doing is university students in Biya?
That's really sad. And this has been going on for more than a year. So many activists in the South that have spoken up have also been arrested. It's not just students or lawyers or teachers that have been arrested. So many activists have been arrested. And of course, he shut down the internet in Southern Cameroon every so often so that the world would not know about the atrocities going on there. But on October 1st of this year, because they announced that they are no longer reuniting with Cameroon, officials are saying that about 10 people were killed. Amnesty International said at least 17 people were killed, but Southern Cameroonians are saying that many more were killed on October 1st.
In Cameroon, there are fears that as many as 30 people have been killed in protests in English-speaking parts of the country. Amnesty International has confirmed 17 people were shot dead. Independent sources put the figure at 30.
Look, you see innocent neighbors have been abducted from their houses. Look at what they are doing to the girls. Those are my neighbors.
They don't forget to
See what they are doing? See what they are doing? See what they are doing to Cameroonians?
Right now, the government of Cameroon has declared the Anglophone protesters, the English-speaking protesters, as terrorists. So that justifies the police killing them. This is a mother that just lost her son. According to the mom, he wasn't even part of the protest.
When my pikin, it's also, he wants struggle for run. The shoe are not on for your back food. That pikin need for that. I can't meet up here for that so. I want to blood come up for my pikin like that when they open them.
So what I don't understand right now is why a lot of people in northern Cameroon are silent while he's killing people in southern Cameroon, shutting down their internet so that the world would not know about what's happening there. How can you be quiet, especially since a lot of people have fled from southern Cameroon to northern Cameroon? So you can't tell me that you don't know what is happening in southern Cameroon, especially because even you in northern part of Cameroon, you are not free. One man has been your president since 1982, 35 years, and the whole country is not trying to get rid of him. Are you kidding me? 35 years? Obviously, the man is not going to step down anytime. Before this whole protest started, a lot of Cameroonians would say, and at least there is peace in Cameroon. Shoo! Now there is no peace. There has not been peace for more than a year. When will you stand up to fight for what is right? Because the people of Southern Cameroon are minorities, only about 20%. If you turn the other eye just because the Southerners are not French speakers, when the man is done with them, he will have nobody else to bounce on but you. And I don't think that other African countries should leave Cameroon to this struggle. Not just Cameroon, but Togo as well, with all the protests that is happening in Togo. Other countries need to help as well. Of course, our sincere condolences to all those that have lost their loved ones. We'll keep you guys posted on the developments in Cameroon. You guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So for our rapid news of the week, first of all, Kenya's opposition leader Raila Odinga has decided to withdraw his candidacy for the new presidential election that has been rescheduled for October 26th. The man said that without reforms, this coming election would also face the same problem as the previous one. And because of that, a lot of people have been protesting, asking for election reform. Unfortunately, there are reports that police are opening fire on protesters. And also in Nigeria, did you guys hear that Governor El Rufai of Kaduna decided to test the competency of his teachers by giving them primary 4 tests, and more than 21,000 of them failed. Father! Hey, you see what I'm saying? I've been telling you guys for years that the education in Nigeria is nothing to write home about. So you guys, you see what I'm saying? And have you seen some of the questions? You know, Miriam has 4 hens laying 2 eggs. How many eggs has Miriam? I was like, are you kidding me? And teachers failed this kind of test, primary 4 test. Father, I've been seeing so many of you making fun of Kaduna on the social media. In fact, some people are making fun of the whole of northern Nigeria. They are saying that their education is whack. I'm like, shoo, some of you, if they should come and do a test in your state as well, that is why you will also be exposed. There are so many states where the education is rotten. I mean, if you are not going to a private school in Nigeria, forget it. I just want to know what you guys say about that. And while we're talking about Nigeria, have you guys heard about the monkeypox that has been spreading? It's very, very sad. Very, very sad. I can't even imagine. For now, they said that there is no cure. I'm like, hey, Father, what are we going to do? And most of all, my people, people, I beg, stay away from Enogbe. Bushmeat, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know you like it. And those of you living abroad, if they send you bushmeat from Nigeria, I beg, hey, stay away right now. Until this whole monkeypox thing disappears. They said that the bushmeat is the cause of the monkeypox. So I beg my brothers and sisters, I know it is very sweet. Me too, I like bushmeat. But I beg, stay away for now. You guys don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Alright, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out!